My name's Danielle Leedie Gray, and I'm a proud Bidjara and Waka Waka woman from South East and West Queensland. We're not formal people, like culturally, we're like, yeah, let's have a yarn. Like that's a chat, right? And it's so informal, and that's where we connect, and that's where we share stories, and that's where we encourage one another. Bruno's gonna have to chop the hell out of this one. I started freelance graphic design about 8 years ago after researching my grandfather's history and discovering that he was part of the stolen generation and requested to be exempt from the Aboriginal Act. I wanted to be able to educate non-Indigenous people about the truth and the history of my family through creativity. So when I started, I was self-taught, and I would do YouTube videos and make logos, graphic logos. And then during that period of my life, I was wanting to learn more about our family history. And when I started looking into Granddad's stuff and discovered everything, I don't know what it was within me, but I just creatively had like a shift and I knew that I wanted to do something graphic, but I wanted to be able to embed my culture in that and tell a story and educate other people. Aboriginal people have what's called a kinship system. So we might have there might be like five, even though we have a biological parent or parents, we might have like other mums or other grandmas or whatever it is. That's not uncommon for our people, for grandmas to become, or nans to become a big role in, Aboriginal children, families' lives. Every time I'd visit Nan or see her or whatever, it normally consisted of going to church, believe it or not. And just going and visiting everyone. She would just roll up at someone's house at 12 o'clock at night. And wanting a cup of tea, and it's just a huge connection. The thing is too with our elders, a lot of them don't like to speak about the past and the history. And I remember when I was a bit younger, I used to get a bit frustrated with Nan around that. And as I got older, I realised, and as I became more aware and educated around the history of not only our family but our people and what happened, and I understood why she didn't want to talk about it. I think that the theme of for our elders, for NAIDOC, is just so huge. I've always encouraged my children and I've always reminded myself and my cousins to that we really need to connect and ask those questions with our elders, and because they're not always going to be here, and it is only through asking and sharing and that we can continue to pass down culture and traditions. I think that's it's huge. Yeah, so I also do fine artwork. Generally, I take it as an opportunity to connect with my children and teach them about art and culture and have deep, meaningful conversations. around that. With the pieces I do, I donate them to different causes, and often gift them to people that, you know, have had some sort of impact on my life. Trust, communication, respect, and authenticity. So it's important for me to be able to do my job effectively, to connect with people, and that be reciprocated, and just be able to take them on that cultural and creative journey. That means a lot to me, because I think that's the aim, right? Like, yes, we have the creative component and or outcome and what we are trying to achieve, but it's just super important to me to have that connection with people and allow it to be a very open, respectful, transparent space for everybody to communicate, because there are a lot of questions that people have that they either don't ask out of fear of offending, or they are not sure how to ask. And I think, like, my approach is always to be open to people, and like know that, you know, provided that it's very, you know, respectful communication, that you know, they can sort of take the opportunity and ask those questions and get the answers. And if I don't have the answers, I'll find them. So a significant part of my creative process is delivering not only my presentations, so final artwork presentations, but also engaging with my clients in a way that it connects them and educates them culturally. And when I do fine art, it's an entirely different process again, where it's not different, but it's purely intuition, and it's a really, like, almost like a spiritual connection, to sit there and just dot. Like, I do contemporary dot paintings and just dot for hours. I could sit there like, 10 hours, which is probably not good for my posture, but yeah, it's really interesting. I feel guided and I feel connected. And my artwork in general is creating pieces and using symbols that represent unity or coming together. And one of those, or some of those symbols, are the concentric circles with the lines between them, which represent journey. The concentric circles with people around the edge, representing, coming together, meeting place. And the emu symbol, which is my totem animal, and represents moving forward. But coming together in unity is really the core of what I do. For me, it's really important, and it's a bit of an honor when companies reach out to me that are sort of taking their first steps towards reconciliation. I really enjoy being a part of that process and doing what I can to support that. This particular project with Bluebeam was really interesting because it was different to what I'm used to. Generally, I work with a lot of companies that are doing their reconciliation action plans. So I'll do the artwork and the publication design for that. So This being for NAIDOC, and also working with, or essentially collaborating with someone like Bruno, who knows what they're doing and can help bring the artwork to life, really excited me. I think it's important to continue to commission First Nations artists, and not only just during movements, but outside of that. One way that companies can support First Nations artists is sharing our work throughout their networks. Our work not only has significant depth and meaning, but there's also the economic impact that it has on the artists themselves and the communities that they belong to. So reconciliation action plans are a significant step towards reconciling with First Nations Australians. Some other meaningful steps companies or individuals can take is acknowledging significant dates such as Reconciliation Week and NAIDOC. I think the other thing too is that people tend to rely on First Nations to have all the answers and provide the answers, and I think that people can take steps themselves through social media and looking up accounts or influencers, First Nation influencers, NITV. Yeah, I mean, the web is a really good resource to use if you're, wanting to explore further around First Nations artists and designers and musicians and, leaders. I think that people can really take advantage of that and find the information that they're looking for.